Okay, so once you've got the eyes pretty much set, you can begin making sure that you're pulling that nose forward. And I know a lot of people have already been working on the nose. Just a couple of things to remember is you're going to want to look at this indentation here. Most people cut in a little bit. Some of people come more smoothly out of their forehead. Most people come in a little bit, and then the nose pulls down. Some people have the little turned up nose. Some have the little ball on the end of the nose. One of the things that you're going to want to do when making that nose, what I usually do is I think about, I know it sounds gross, I share lots of gross things. I think about the fact that everybody can fit their index finger up their nose, and this sculpture is smaller than your actual head, so you should be able to fit your pinky up your sculpture's nose. And it's a really good way to form the nostrils is to go ahead and find that spot, and when you push the pinky up, see how the nostril on the side here flares out a little bit? When you push your pinky up inside, so I usually use my pinkies, and that gives a little flare on the side of the nose. You're going to have to look at your person's nose. Some people have narrow noses. Mine is pretty narrow, and it pulls out a long way from the face, and it's long. Some people have wider, flatter noses, so you really need to evaluate your person and see what the shape of their nose. Also, some people's nostrils, like mine, are more up and down on my own personal head. So when I tilt my head back like that, you can see up my nostrils that way. Other people's nostrils are flatter and go side to side, more like that. So you're going to need to really look at your person and evaluate what that shape of that is. And then the next thing you need to do before this gets any drier is you need to build forward where the teeth are underneath the skin. Right? One of the number one things that people don't notice when they're first sculpting is when you look at the face sideways and you look at it right here, if the nose is back here, the upper lip comes out about halfway. Okay? So what you need to do, I'm just going to go ahead and use some clay off the back of the head because I know it's the same dryness, it's the same consistency, so it's easier to blend it together. You have to score and slip. And this is the number one piece that tends to break off in the kiln on people's sculptures, is this piece that we add because people don't score it and slip, and you get this thing out of the kiln that looks like this again, and the whole mouth is falling off, and it looks like something out of a horror movie, right? I can show them to you over there. Or they'll get cracks because they didn't score it enough and didn't use enough slip. So you want to also make sure that you're coming into the piece that you're going to add, and you want to score that. But what you need to remember is that the teeth are horseshoe shaped, right? If you tilt your head back and look at the inside of your mouth, they come forward and they go back again. They are not flat. Our face is not flat. So what you want to do is get plenty of scoring and slipping done here. And I'm mostly adding it to the center. So what I'm kind of doing is adding just a partial dome. I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to put some slip on it too. And I want to work it down in there because some of this clay is starting to dry out and it just won't adhere very well if you don't. So I'm actually using this fork and kind of digging it down in there a little bit. I'm going to press it in the center, which it looks really crazy right now. Kind of looks like a baby sucking on a pacifier, right? So what I want to do though is that now I've got that on there, I want to really work it together. So you want to take one of these wooden tools or something, and I want to really work the two clays together. You want to really knit it together. This is the number one reason why this piece tends to fall off in the kiln is people don't really work the two clays together. So remember to bring clay forward from the face that was already there. Take this new piece, work it back and forth. You really got to work it together well. If you just stick it on and smooth it out, I can pretty much guarantee it's going to come off in the kiln. So you want to be moving this forward, and you don't need to worry about how smooth it all is yet. But like this up underneath here, where it comes out from underneath the nose, see how by adding that, this comes a little bit more forward than it used to? Because it does. If you look at the people around you, right under here, right underneath the nose, that's the most forward part of the lips. It comes most forward there, and then it smooths back down, okay? And then what I do to start trying to figure out where the lips are is you can take a tool, you can take your fingers, you got to get that measurement. Remember, the eyes are the halfway point of the head. The nose is between a half and a third, depending on the length of the nose. The mouth is about halfway between the tip of the nose and the chin. Some people have longer chins, some people have shorter chins. But I'm going to separate this, and I'm going to roll this up. The lips roll upward. Oops, I took off too much. It's a little soft right now because of all that working it. Okay, so the lip rolls up. and then it separates here, and then the bottom lip pushes in underneath the bottom lip, and then the chin comes down, okay? And then you can start smoothing this. You need to look and see what the shape of your actual person's lips are, right? Some people have really close together peaks, these points on the lips. Some of them are very well defined and very close together, right? Some of them are kind of a very subtle peak, and it's smoother at the top, right? Some people have fuller lips than others. Some people have thinner lips, right? Some people, the corner of your lip turns up just a little. That's why it's so crucial to have your model and know who you're trying to sculpt at this point. Does the corner turn up a little? Is the top lip thinner or thicker than the bottom lip, right? And then just the thing to remember is it doesn't cave in. I know I'm pushing with my fingers, but I'm not caving it in this way. The top lip curves this way. It curves back into the face, and the bottom lip curves out this way. So it's two bumps that come together like this. So the upper lip comes forward, right? And it's like you could push your tongue up under there and push that out, right? That needs to come forward. Your teeth are underneath there pushing that lip forward. And then it pulls back. See how this comes back this way? It's not flat, right? And I didn't add a big old coil to stick lips on there. I added a mass of clay, and then I separated it, and then I bent one down and one up. If you find that you didn't make yours quite thick enough, if you look at it afterwards and say, well, that lip should be a little thicker, then you can go ahead and make a little coil. Make sure that you're putting some slip on there, working it in. And you can build that out a little thicker, but then you have to blend it in, right? This particular person is much too thin in the chin, so I need to work on that. But I was just trying to show you how to go ahead and start building and separating the lips. So now it has a more complete looking profile, right? And this is why I had you take pictures from every angle. So look at your sculpture from the side. Then look at it and compare it to your picture, your 3/4. How much of this eye back here can you see, right? What angle does the mouth come up at? And then turn it and look at it straight on, look at it from the other angle, look at it from the other profile. You need to compare it, right? Like that video we watched about Lincoln, his face was not perfectly symmetrical, right? It curved to one side. Our faces are not perfectly symmetrical either, so whoever you're sculpting, you're going to want to check those things, okay? You need to make sure you're using the same clay body. So we're going to get some more clay that has the fibers in it. You can, for now, like I did, I just pulled a little bit off the back of the head. It's going to get covered up with hair later anyway. So I just pulled a little bit off the back of the head to build this up. That way you know it's the same clay. It came from the same batch because it was in there to begin with. Just make sure you score and use plenty of slip, okay?